Okay, so I have a story to share with you all. I just got home from France, and on my way home, I boarded my flight in Paris. It's gonna be like an 8-hour flight to Boston, and I'm just like minding my own business. I have my noise canceling headphones on, I have my mask on, that's what I like to do when I get on a plane. I like to just mind my own business. And so that's what I was doing. This woman, this white lady with like long, silver, gorgeous hair, probably in her 70s or so, comes and sits down next to me. And she starts talking to me, even though it is so clear that I am not trying to talk to anybody. She starts talking to me and she's telling me all about the short-term missions trip that she just went on. And she's on her way home from. She's heading back to Seattle after having been a short-term missionary in Georgia, the country, where she was supposedly sharing the love of Jesus with the Kurds. Those are her words. And she's telling me all about her home church in Seattle, which is a Calvary Chapel church, which is a denomination within evangelicalism. And she's talking about how she really loves her church because they just preach the word. That's it. All they care about is the Bible, nothing else, which is ridiculous to actually say because Calvary Chapel is like 99% white supremacy and like 1% scripture. But anyways, she's going on and on and on about why her church is better than all the other churches. And after like talking, I'm just literally trying to like just weather the storm, right? I'm like not really responding, just listening, hoping that she'll stop talking soon. And then she's like, it just seems to me like the vibe I'm getting, like your facial expressions suggest that you're familiar with this world. Like you're familiar with the Christian world or with missions and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, you clocked me, I guess. I grew up evangelical. I'm a pastor's kid. I know what you're talking about. So yeah. And she's like, well, you said you grew up evangelical. Like, well, what do you believe now? And at first I was like, should I just pretend like I'm her people? Because then maybe she'll stop talking to me and just like move on to evangelizing to somebody else. But then I was like, no, if she thinks I'm her people, she's going to want to talk to me for the next 8 hours on this flight. So I should just rip the Band-Aid off and let her know the truth. So I just said, hey, just so you know, I am, my spirituality is a devotion to the Black Madonna, among other things. And that's actually why I've been in France and I come here every year and blah, 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 this and that. And she's like, what's the Black Madonna? And she literally is looking at me like I'm going to infect her with some sort of heresy or something. And so I just explained, she's an uncommon version of the Black Mary, of the Virgin Mary. She's black, blah, blah, this and that. And she was like, well, I've never heard of the Black Madonna. But I guess I've heard of a Black Jesus. Someone was talking about a Black Jesus at some point. And I said, oh yeah, sure. Black Jesus. I was like, Black Jesus has been a big part of my journey towards healing. And I'm super grateful for Black liberation theology and that kind of, I'm sharing about my love for Black Jesus. And then she's like, okay, but like, do you have a personal relationship with white Jesus? And I was like, I just looked at her like, are you telling me that as a Black person, Black Jesus can't save me? He has to be white? Like, that's basically what you're saying. She's like, well, I just think you need to have a relationship with the real Jesus in order to be saved. And the real Jesus is the white Jesus. And I just looked at her again and then she corrected herself and said, I mean the Jewish Jesus. The real Jesus is the Jewish Jesus. She's like, so do you have a personal relationship with the Jewish Jesus? And I was like, not a positive one. And I just said, I don't know about the Jewish Jesus. Probably just depends on whether he's Zionist or not. But I definitely would rock with Palestinian Jesus. And that just sort of shut it down. She was like, okay, I guess like there's no hope for you. Abandon hope, all you enter here. But it was just a rude reminder that I'm back in the US where being American means being Christian and being Christian means being American. And it also just reminded me of why it's so important to me that the Black Madonna be blackety black. Because people like to talk about her feminine characteristics or her female related characteristics and kind of coat over her blackness. And the fact that this lady literally thought that Black Jesus himself could not save me, a Black person, but I actually had to be invited like into this relationship with her white God just goes to show that we really need images of the divine that are black, just straight up black, like no sugarcoating it, just deal with it, blackety black.